B'Shem Hashem Na'aseh v'Natzliach. Tonight's topic is abortion. A matter of life and death. Are Jews allowed to do abortion? Our modern halacha settings. I want to give a big disclaimer in these sensitive topics of life and death, which I'm not afraid of, but I'm not a posek, and this is for educational purposes only. If you need to make a decision, consult your local Orthodox competent rabbi. We're just coming here to educate people and wake them up to the reality, and then they can further investigate with their own rabbi. What can we say? The simple answer is no. Abortion under most circumstances is not allowed. It's synonymous to murder, although it's not as bad, we're going to see. And the vast majority of poskim, Maimonides, the Rambam, the Shulchan Aruch, believe that it is forbidden from the Torah. Just like you have to keep Shabbat, you can't murder, obviously it's the Ten Commandments. You have to keep kosher. Not aborting a baby is just as strict as that. Now, I want to go a little bit into the mystic realm. People that do abortion, the Zohar says, is such a terrible crime, and it causes God's presence to go away from the Jewish community, and God's blocks, God forbid, the blessings. It's very, very repulsive and harmful to our relationship with God, because it is a subcategory of murder. And obviously there can be nothing worse than murder. And it pains my heart. One of my congregants, one of my students told me that he has a friend that works in an abortion clinic. And he said, unfortunately, many Jews, Persian Jews, they do abortions left and right. And it's not a good thing. It's not a good thing. I could maybe share a story with you that happened with a close member of my family. She told me an amazing story on her deathbed. Remind me at the end to share that with you. Now let's go into the details. Abortion is killing the baby inside the stomach of the mother. And basically under Jewish view, it's like murder, but not as bad. Now, something very important to know is, under Jewish law, non-Jews also, the Torah, the non-Jews also have 7 commandments. If they keep them, they go to heaven. 7 heaven.
7 to heaven.
The Jew has to keep 613 and all the rabbinic mitzvahs. But the non-Jew, because a lot of times non-Jews watch the YouTube videos and the shiurim, they should be well aware that a lot of, from the oral Torah, the Mosaic tradition we have from Moses, the oral tradition, many opinions say it's a worse crime for a non-Jew to do abortion than even a Jew.
Why?
Because they have to only keep 7, but the 7 is very stricter. You understand? The 7 for them is like a matter of life and death. It's not a joke. So I just want to bring to the other realm. Sometimes people get fanatical. We have to know that the Tosfot in the Gemara, this is in the Gemara Sanhedrin, talks about the idea of abortion. It's a fascinating concept. There's literally books you could write about this in HALACHA. I was doing my research, and I wish I could have done more research, but we have to know, as terrible and harmful spiritually abortion is, even if somebody did abortion and 2 kosher witnesses had warned him, don't do it, is no death penalty. So it's not a capital crime. If God forbid, there shouldn't be such a thing, but in Israel, thousands upon thousands of people do it a year. And they need to do major teshubah, repentance. But somebody that did it, and with full knowledge, God forbid, did it, and 2, he was fully aware because 2 kosher witnesses warned him, it's not like he committed real murder and, we're going to hang him or give him capital punishment. Now, let's go to when technically, again, it's a very tragic case, but there are, and this is where the Jews different from Christians. Under Jewish law, there are exemptions where abortion would be allowed. And when is that? So we're going to learn two laws from the Shulchan Aruch, two fascinating laws. It's very important to know the law of Rodef to begin with. In the fourth book of Jewish law called the Shulchan Aruch Choshen Mishpat, chapter 5, 425. 425. There's a fascinating law of Rodef. What is a Rodef? Rodef is somebody that's after you to kill you. He wants your blood. Mm-hmm. And we know that to preserve one's own life is tantamount. It's very important. We can't be wishy. The Jew wouldn't exist if he would let everybody take advantage of him. Yeah. The Judaism is the religion of life, opposite other religions that are the religion of death. So therefore, is a fascinating halacha here in chapter 425 Shulchan Aruch Choshen Mishpat. Actually, it's one of the last laws in all of Jewish books. So the Shulchan Aruch, which is our GPS to life, towards literally, I think it's the last chapter, the second to last, third to last chapter, talks about Rodef. Rodef is Harodef achar chavaro lehargo. Let's say somebody has a knife or a gun and he's about to kill. Reuben is about to slit the throat of Shimon. Shimon knows that because he's running like a lightning bolt away from Reuben, and we can see that. Vehizhiro, he says, stop it, don't kill me. And the guy's Hare ze rodef. This Reuben with the sharp sword or knife gets the status of what? Rodef. Rodef is he wants your blood, right? Mm-hmm. He wants, like a vampire, he's coming to kill you and annihilate you. Afilu haya rodef harodef katan. Even if it's a small child trying to kill you. Sometimes kids that are 11, 12 years old can weigh 200 pounds and act just like an adult. You know what I mean? The law, unfortunately, as it may be, we must try to take out the rodef because he's trying to kill innocent people.
Yeah.
So all Jews, it would be a mitzvah to you shoot that person in the foot or break his arm or make it that he's incapable of killing the innocent Shimon, right? The scenario is Reuben is running after Shimon, and we see Reuben is bloodthirsty. He has that thing in his eyes. We see Shimon has warned him. So why should we stand by and let Shimon die for no reason? Mm-hmm. So what we do is we have to somehow incapacitate to make him incapable, Reuben, of killing Shimon. But let's say you can't pull the trigger. It's not so easy to just shoot somebody in the foot or the thigh. You may end up killing Reuben. Listen, best case scenario, if you're a sharpshooter and you could not kill Reuben, it would be better.
Yeah.
But since Reuben is in the act of murder, you're catching him basically in the act of murder. He hasn't murdered yet, but you see that happening. If by accident or you weren't capable of exactly precisely not killing Reuben, it's fine. You're doing the right thing. Afilu sha'adayin lo harag, even though he hasn't killed yet. Because if he's killed, it's too late. Then you're not actually allowed to kill him. The idea here is try to preserve life. Life is the most precious thing in the world.
Right.
So the law of rodef is a very fascinating law. And the Ramah says that it's for this reason that if somebody's in your house intruding in the middle of night, you can kill him, because obviously best case scenario is try to incapacitate him, shoot him in the arm, shoot him in the leg. We don't want to take a life for no reason, but if you see a thief, he's an armed robber in your house in the middle of the night, what do you think he's going to do to you?
Yeah.
He's coming there armed in the middle of the night. If you don't kill him, you could kill him. If you don't kill him, he will kill you. And there's a very important idea here from the Talmud in Sanhedrin. Habar lecha horgecha hashkim lahorgo. Somebody that wants to kill you, you outwit him and kill him first, right? That's why the Israeli Defense Forces have Krav Maga and we have the IDF, because unfortunately there's many terrorists that want to kill the Jew. And it would be a terrible, terrible mistake to try to be like sheep. They've already killed enough Jews in the Holocaust. The law is you have to be super proactive, super vigilant to guard your life. And this leads us to the second halacha. It would be impossible to appreciate the second halacha without knowing the first one. Now, unfortunately, a husband and wife, they should only have happy and healthy children. But abortion, especially before C-sections, was a very dangerous. Even today, people die. A lot of people die in third world countries. I love studying the almanac. So mother and father everybody needs to pray a lot for the mother. Now let's say a woman is about to give birth, but the baby's not coming out. It hasn't put its head out, and the mother's suffocating. There's complications. Either you kill the baby or the mother will die. And obviously there's competent doctors there. In this case, it's okay to do abortion. That's the halacha. Because this kid is like a rodef. Remember we talked about rodef?
Yeah.
The kid is basically, even though the kid is passively a rodef, right? He doesn't want to kill his mother, but technically speaking, you're between a rock and a hard place. The child is not born yet, right? He's in the womb. If we don't take him out piece by piece, the mother is going to die. So, God forbid anything should happen, but the Torah deals with all instances of life, whether you have to kill the baby through medicine or you literally have to kill the baby, cut him up. Since the kid has a status of a rodef, it's okay. But, listen to this. This is the problem with partial birth. Once the kid has stuck out his head, you cannot kill the baby anymore. You let nature take its course. Because we're going to explain according to the Chazon Ish. She gives a very, very fascinating. Once the kid is born, which means what? Has stuck out his head? You can't. Who said the mother's blood is redder than the baby's blood, right? It's two human beings. You let nature take its course. Of course, we would try to save both. But since this is a natural thing, then whatever happens. Hopefully both of them will live. But once the baby's head is out, you cannot kill the baby, murder the baby. And we hope to save the mother. Now, Harav Ovadia Yosef says, so obviously from such a case, obviously, if you have even the most minimal amount of logic, from here we see that how terrible abortion is in a regular sense. Because it's coming there's a special halacha coming to tell you that only if the mother's life is in jeopardy, you could kill the kid. But if the mother's life is not in jeopardy, obviously what? You're not supposed to kill the kid. It's almost the same thing as murder. Rav Ovadia brings, it's really a Mishnah in Ohalot. The Mishnah says, Ha'isha makshel aled, machtin et vlad b'mea. This is already from the Mishnah, which is the strongest source of the Talmud. The most classical source, the Mishnah in chapter 7 of Ohalot says, a woman that is having a tough time in labor and we're worried she's going to die, you could cut up the kid. It's an unfortunate thing. And you remove her from the womb limb by limb. Because the Mishnah says over there, her life takes precedence to his life. But again over there, it says in the Mishnah, if most of his body, right, or his head has already exited the womb of the mother, then you let nature take, God decide who's going to live. Hopefully both of them are going to live. Now, the great Chazon Ish sheds a very, very beautiful light on to what's going on here. See, usually we Jews always will desecrate any law, religious law in the Torah to save a life. Shabbat, Yom Kippur. Like my own daughter was born on a Shabbat, Yom Kippur.
Wow.
I drove my wife to what?
The hospital.
The hospital. Why? Because nothing is above life. But there are 3 cases that, God forbid, push comes to shove, a Jew has to give his life, and it's a tremendous mitzvah. I shouldn't say God forbid, and what are those 3? Adultery. If a person is a woman or mostly a man, we could talk about women in a different, if a man is compelled to do adultery, like homosexuality, or he says, I'll blow your head off, can he go commit the act? No. Any type of sexual relations that has the death penalty or karet in the Torah, you cannot do that. According to the law of the Torah, you have to rather give your life and not do that. Women is a little bit different, the law. The second thing, idol worship. If they tell you to bow to cheese and crackers, the cross, or else we're going to kill you. We see in Spain, and hundreds of thousands, if not millions of Jews were in the pogroms and everything, were willing to sacrifice their life and not do idol worship. You're not allowed to become a pagan. This is called Yehareg Val Ya'avor. It's better to die and not go against the Torah. And the third case is murder. Let's say, God forbid, a Nazi comes to you and says, I'll kill you. Here's an Uzi. Kill everybody or else I'll kill you. Are you allowed to kill anybody?
No.
No. So the Chazon Ish says a fascinating idea about this halacha of abortion. And this is really why we need the Mishnah. Usually, we let nature take its course. We're passive when it's a situation of life and death. Because the Gemara says, who says your life is more valuable than somebody else's life? Is your blood redder? Is your blood more valuable? So usually a Jew is never allowed to become a murderer in order to save his own life. But the idea here, in the case of abortion, the Chazon Ish says, on his commentary to the Rambam, is that since before a child is born, he's not officially alive. You understand? That's the whole idea here. Since a child is still not actually born, as terrible it is to abort him and kill him, in this specific scenario, you're talking about a human being that is not come to the world yet and a human being that is live and well. Now, I'm guessing it could be that maybe this child won't, who knows if it's a viable child. Sometimes children, until 30 days, the Gemara, we don't do Pidyon Haben because we don't know if the child is going to live or not. But the bottom line is that since the mother's life is more valuable, since she is physically alive and she's not in the womb. That's why, even though usually we don't kill one person to save another, to save ourselves or save another, in this scenario, we do. Even though this child's life has so much value that we would desecrate Yom Kippur and Shabbat for, right? In order that a mother should not have a miscarriage. Or she says that her, even though we know her life is not in danger, only the life of the baby is in danger. So don't get me wrong, the life of the baby is super valuable. We desecrate Shabbat for the life of the baby in the womb. But the idea here is that a different mechanism kicks in. You understand? The idea of rodef, we label the kid as an intruder trying to run after the mother, and especially since he's not actually physically born, so it's not one person versus the other, it would be okay. But there's another way of understanding it besides the Chazon Ish, which is saying, no, the kid's life is 100%. He's like me and you. He's like a real person. That's why we fall onto the law of what? See, the Chazon Ish is a chidush. That's why we say that the kid is no different than a 12-year-old coming trying to kill you. You understand? Mm-hmm. With a gun. The bottom line is that since the mother is established and the mother's not trying to kill the kid, right? This is a short side. There's many more practical applications of these ideas, but I wanted to only talk about things that I was 100% sure about and I did research on. But I want to tell you a really scary story. I had a close family member and she died of breast cancer. So she said for many years she always used to see a nightmare. And it always haunted her. She said, and since I was her family member, I was a rabbi, she said, I want to tell you something. I know I'm dying from this cancer, but this is something you should know and teach people, that they shouldn't do abortion. So this is a story that happened to me directly. It's not some mumbo jumbo. She said she always used to see a nightmare that there's 3 babies in a cradle. Oh, let me say, I apologize. For many years she was fasting. When she was diagnosed with cancer, she said, I always help everybody, and she really did have a golden heart. I always do loving kindness to everybody. So she decided to fast for many Mondays and Thursdays and ask God, why do I deserve to get cancer? So after a certain amount of time, she started seeing a nightmare almost on a daily basis. The nightmare was this. There was 3 babies in a cradle, in three different cradles, and then each one of them would jump out of the cradle and try to choke her to death. And then she would wake up. So she saw this probably nightmare at least 7-10 times. She says, I can't take it anymore. So she went to a rabbi, a very big rabbi. And the rabbi was a Kabbalist. He said, I want to ask you, did you ever do abortion? She said, yes. I did 3 abortions. She said, you are a spiritual person. God likes you. And God answered your prayer. Didn't you fast all those days and you asked God why? This dream was the answer. Those 3 babies in the crib were the 3 kids you aborted. Their neshama should have come to this world and they would have gotten to their tikkun. Because this is the tragedy of abortion. Because we in Judaism believe that every human being is like as valuable as the entire world. That's why, just like they wrote from the Talmud on Schindler's grave, one who saves a life is like he saved the entire world. So he said those 3 children were taking revenge from you. Those 3 souls that should have been your children. And then you know what she told me? She said, I believe that. And when she left this world, even though she had excruciating, God forbid, chemotherapy, there should only be healthy news. But may Hashem help us to only have happy, healthy children, to realize that human life is very valuable. Don't forget to subscribe to get more of these videos. And have a wonderful day. Shalom u'bracha.